This is Gold Rush the game. It's essentially just a video game built off the story, or a made-up storyline based off of the Discovery television show Gold Rush. So you're basically up in Alaska playing a Gold Rush simulation. You're gonna start out looking at a screen like this, or you're in a you're in a scenario that looks just like this. You'll be in front of this sign with your truck. Just make note of the fact that you're right next to the blacksmith when you first start out. I'm just going to make this video because it's not inherently obvious what to do at the very beginning of the simulation, and while you can hit tab and go to dig tube here, and it'll show you eventually like what to do and stuff with little videos, like it's just not the best way to learn. So I'm just going to run through everything like a quick start guide super quickly. One thing to note right off the bat, there are a lot of bugs. The game is brand new. If that's not for you, you might want to avoid picking it up. So far, it's been out a week, and they have released 3 patches, so they're doing a great job at fixing some of the bugs. One that you'll notice right off the bat is every time I'm driving on the asphalt, it'll tell me to disable the differential lock. But if you look at this lever, it can be in either position, and it'll tell me to disable it, and it's not inherently obvious which one is disable. But regardless, let's fire up the truck. Release the parking brake, because that's the kind of game this is. The driving physics are a little wonky. You'll want to stick to a reasonable speed because you will lose control of the vehicle rather quickly. And while it's not a big deal, they did fix the problem that there was with the vehicle exploding. Eventually, I do believe it'll be able to take damage. So the first thing you're going to do is immediately pull in to this spot right there on your right. Hit the parking brake, turn off the truck, get out. And we are going to just run down here to this red building. I guess you could drive up, but whatever. When you get to the front doors, you'll be at the bank. Under parcels, you're just going to want to click rent on the old Arnold parcel, and then get out of there and head back to the warehouse. So the warehouse essentially works like this. You'll come in, you'll find things that you need, you'll hit E, you'll select a quantity, add it to your bill or whatever, and then you'll come over to the cash register, use it, and it'll show you everything you have purchased. You'll click, that you have chosen to purchase. You'll click buy to officially purchase it, and then it will show up out here, in here if it's an item, or right here if it's a trailer. And just one thing to keep in mind is that this can get full, and it will not give you every item if it's too full. So basically, everything works in a pickup like by hitting E, so you don't have to put down the tailgate, but essentially when you buy something, you'll come over here, pick it up, you have it. I don't think you can manipulate things yet. It doesn't appear so, but they're working on a feature where you can manipulate the objects to make them more easily fit. But the first thing you're going to want to do is come in here. You're going to pick up this hog pan sluice box core, this hog pan no pump, 2 hog pan mats, and 2 buckets for good measure. You can get away with only 1. And I don't think you need anything else right off the bat. And then you'll come over to the cash register, buy it, come out here. I'm a little upset because I bought one of these and I think they reduced the price. They did by 900 bucks after I bought it. Whatever. You'll find it over here. You'll throw it in the bed of the truck. You're going to hop in and drive back to the claim. You're going to have to come back several times. And just one thing to keep in mind is that it's a little difficult to pay attention. If you hit the 3 key, you'll be outside view of the truck. It's difficult to pay attention when you're in the cockpit view of whether or not the stuff is staying in the bed of the truck. There's not much you can do about that other than drive in third person. But we're going to hit X to fire up the truck. Spacebar to remove the parking brake. Turn on our high beam since nobody else exists in this world. And with our hog pan no pump, our sluice box core, and our 2 mats. I'm trying to think, do we need anything else? No, not right off the bat. We're going to head to the claim. To get to the Arnold claim from the warehouse, you're just going to turn right down this dirt road. turn left. These bumps are where you will lose. It doesn't matter if you go left or right here. It's just a fork. These bumps are what will cause you to lose the contents of the bed of your pickup. So it's important to just pay attention, not get going too fast, and not lose the stuff back there. One thing I like about this, as a side note, is not the loading screens when you get to that point coming from either side, but the bumpiness of these roads and the wonkiness of the physics kind of force you to drive slow, and it adds that sense of distance between your parcel and town. Like, it makes you feel that, like, you know, I am way out in the middle of nowhere and I have to go to town, and it's kind of a pain in the ass to get shit because you have to go so far. So it's kind of nice. But it's essentially just one main road, and you can open up a map. I believe the M key does. Yeah, it does. And tab does as well. When you get to the end and it doesn't look like you can go anywhere, you can actually turn left. You don't really notice the road, but it's here. You are essentially on your driveway at this point. It would be incredibly beneficial to be able to use a controller. I would highly recommend using a controller if you have an Xbox controller or you like using one of the remapping programs for the PS4 controller. PS4 controller support is supposed to be included, and the devs apparently had no issue, but upon release it was broken and it still doesn't work, but it is a known issue and they are working on it. So when you pull into your plot, first thing to make aware of, just to make a mental note, this is like the little storage area where you can put stuff on the shelves in here. Extras, if you can see, there's a couple hoses, some gas cans and whatnot. But the first place that you are going to go and start digging is right here on the right hand side. So I am going to, I don't know if okay. Pull the parking brake, turn the truck off in the wrong order. And you are going to take your pump and your sluice box core and come over here. Alright, so you're going to carry your sluice box core over, and you'll see this highlighted thing on the ground, and you'll just set it there. You will take your mats and set them in there. And then you will take your hog pan and set it there. Grab your bucket, set it on the floor, right side up, and you are going to hit the greater than or less than to switch your items. And you've got three, a flashlight, a shovel, and your hand. And then you're just going to left click on this soft dirt, and you see how it gives me the option to E on the shovel. You can either put it in the shovel, or put it in the bucket, or you can dump it directly in here, which is a little faster. And now you're going to see 10%. That's gone up until it's full. You don't have to go until it's full, just the most efficient way to do it. And then you are going to go back to your hand, grab your bucket. If you chose to put it in the bucket, by the way, once the bucket visibly fills up, you come over here and see how I can use it. It would dump it, even though there's nothing into it, in the bucket. It would dump into there. Now you come over to the water. See how the water highlights? It's not. You look down, it highlights. Scoop up a pail full of water. Dump the water in here. It's going to force the pay dirt through the sluice box. It won't work on this one because mine has a pump. But it's the same idea. Alright, so these work the same way. I just brought the water pump over here to fire it up. You see now, because the water is constantly running through there, the dirt that I had in there actually washed out, and now there is 1% gold in each of the mats. So I'm just going to fast forward. I'll put a little more dirt in there to get some gold to show exactly how to pan. I need to not forget that pump is over there. I'm a professional. Just a quick note, if you look at the ground, see how there's this big hole here, but then it fades kind of into that, like, very obviously, like, there's a difference in the dirt, right? If you're looking at it, you can kind of tell, you know, this line here, how it goes from, like, not breakable soil into kind of like mud, and that's where, you know, you can dig. Now, you may seem like you're doing this forever, and it's going to take absolutely forever until you can afford equipment. Just a side note and quick spoiler, if you don't want to know, just skip like 10 seconds ahead. After you get about this far, we'll say, you find a really big nugget, and you get a message from the game, and it says like, here's enough money to buy some equipment to help you dig faster. So anyway, it doesn't take forever. So I'm just gonna shut this off and show you. As you can see by looking at the ground, this is where the actual like mine itself is. Like this is all the pay dirt for the actual mine. Try not to run over my posts. Pull up here and alright, we're gonna grab our gold water. To pan for the gold, real simple. So we're not going to be confusing. Get out of here. You can find your pan and your wash bin inside this tent. In the same way that we filled the bucket up with water, you fill this thing up with water. You pick it up, go to the water, look down until it highlights, hit E. Your guy is He-Man. He fills this entire bin with water and then lifts it by himself. You're going to take your gold water bucket and you're going to use it on the pan. You will dump it out into the pan. Now your pan has dirt in it. Now here you pay close attention to the colors. When you dunk it, you get dirty water. If you spin it around, you get super dirty gold water. You're going to carefully dump it out. Dunk it. Get super dirty gold water again. Dump it. See, there's a gold nugget in there now. You'll be able to tell when the water stops getting super dirty. It's usually like 3 or 4 times. See, it's not getting super dirty anymore. That way it's done. This is all I'm getting out of here. So now you get the choice of trying to struggle your way through the dirt to get the gold pieces out, or you can kind of play with the physics a little bit. Use the lines to your advantage to try and get that gold nugget stuck. But regardless of how you want to do it, because you always risk, of course, losing that gold nugget over the edge. Regardless of how you choose to do it, you hit left shift, you go into gold picking mode, and you pick the gold. And you see I gained 1% of an ounce. Right? Yeah, 1/100th of an ounce. Alright, so that is how you pick gold. Now, from here, I'm just going to get rid of the... I don't even know if you have to do that. I always do. And I am going to exit gold picking mode. Because now that you've picked the gold, what do you do with it? Obviously, you wouldn't do this after every time. To make the gold bars with the gold, you're going to go to the blacksmith, which is exactly across the road from where you first started. If we look at our map, this is where you first started, and it shows me as the player here for some reason. Here's the warehouse where you buy things. Here's the blacksmith. So from your parcel, you're going to follow the driveway all the way out to the factory, and then take that long road, right at the fork. And when you're right across the road from the warehouse where you buy your stuff, you're going to turn right over the railroad tracks, and then turn right into the blacksmith. At the blacksmith doors, you're going to hit E, and you are going to smelt a bar. You can put the bar in the bed of the pickup and drive to the bank. At the bank, you can sell your bar. It's a little bugged out right now, but as soon as you click sell, it does. So you can back out, and then you have the money, and from there you can go to the warehouse to purchase your automatic pump. Just for efficiency purposes, after you make a couple $100, you're going to want to come back to the warehouse and pick up this extension for your sluice box and 2 more mats here for a hog pan. And that way you can put 2 more mats on here, and it just saves the gold a little bit faster, and you have to clean it less often and pan for it less often. And it just adds up a little more quickly. Another thing you can do after saving a couple $100 is pick up the hog pan with a pump, a water pump, a water hose fat, not necessary, but recommended by the game as a water filter for the end of the water hose fat. And you are going to need gasoline for... That is a weird... You seeing that? That is weird. It's like a glitch. on the graphic there. You are going to need gasoline for the water pump. And the gas cans are right here. I have some in the back of the truck. And I'll show you how to fill those up. So after you're driving through town, you're going to pass the bank and just keep going straight, and you'll see the gas station up here on your left. Now, it took me a minute to figure out how to frickin' put gas in the truck because it doesn't glow that you're supposed to open the fuel cap. Although that would make sense, right? Pull the e-brake, turn the truck off, get out. See? When you grab the handle off the pump and you're like, gee, I want to put gas in it. Oh, it does. It didn't do that before. Well, anyway, it didn't do this, so I couldn't figure out how to put gas in my truck. But anyway, you'll attach it like that. Turn the dial. I obviously don't need much. It's almost full. It'll cost me $1, whatever. But then you come to the back and you essentially just wait until you get the E key to use. And you're going to hook it up. It's already full. I think they all are. Should be. Yeah. Alright. And I'm going to put this back. Hop in the truck. Fire it up. Parking brake. Head back to my claim. I hope this tutorial or quick start guide or whatever you want to call it was helpful to some people. It would have helped me out in the beginning to be able to see one of those just due to the fact that there were so many little things that took me forever to figure out. I thought I was going to be hand mining with a shovel for days, but luckily it wasn't like that. Can I just dump this? Yeah, alright. But luckily it wasn't like that. You know, you get a little divine intervention. And you are able to pick up some equipment of your own. The reason I recommend a controller is because the controls, which are remappable, by the way, I think they are, right? I'm almost positive they are. Oh yeah, they are almost impossible with to operate this thing. Just the way, because you got to figure you're swinging on your axis. You can tilt the whole arm up and down. You you open and close the bucket and perform this pivot point. And trying to do that all with your left hand on the keyboard with WASD, RF, and TG is difficult, especially when the E key is opening the damn door and getting out, and it's just really frustrating. Plus trying to aim over your table and pour it in accurately while you're losing gasoline because all of your generators are running. And your water pumps are running, and this table is running. It's a lot to handle without a controller. So I recommend using a controller if you have one. I'm waiting for the PS4 fix because the 360, I don't have a wired 360 controller or a wireless card for my computer. So with that being said, I hope this tutorial helps somebody out. And like I said, it would have benefited me. So I appreciate you watching.